Was it Friday? Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Y'all enjoyed it?
Yes, it was nice.
Okay. So the topic that I wanted to talk about today was how long does it take you to fall in love? Because, some people be like, oh, that's just too quick. 30 days, that's too soon. Or 6 months, oh, that's too late. Like, give me your opinion. Like, how do you all feel about that?
I mean, I think a lot of what you have to do is you really have to go with your gut, and you have to go with how you're feeling, because every person in every situation is going to be unique. What applies to you might not necessarily apply to the next couple over from you, or the person that you work with that's in a relationship, or your neighbor, or even a family member, or whatever. I kind of go with it. I think when you know, but that's also taken some time to reconcile that. I think when I was a lot younger, what I thought was love wasn't necessarily love. It was more like a very strong and I'm enjoying the attention that I'm receiving.
Okay, so Brenna, when you say when you just know, what do you mean about that? Like related to your own personal experience?
To me, it's kind of like, I'm going to say a feeling. It's a feeling, and it's a sense and an awareness that I just know that this is my person. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's just like the energy is there, the vibe is there, the connection is there, the communication is there, the attraction is there. Like all of the things that you pour into falling in love with someone, being in love with someone, and actively then deciding to continue to choose that person to love them, because people fall in love and then people fall out of love. People stay together for years and years and years, and then for whatever reasons they decide to go their separate ways. What worked for them years ago is no longer serving them currently. So for me, it's been being able to recognize a feeling. And when I look back on previous situations and previous relationships to the one that I'm in now, I can say that, there was times in previous relationships that I thought that I was in love with that person, but I really wasn't.
What about you, Miss Donna? Do you go by when you just know? How do you feel about that one?
You gotta think about the spark. When you are meeting someone new, and it has to be a spark there. It has to be a connection, and not just from the eyes view, but a feeling of the energy has to be there for you to connect.
Yes.
So, I was actually reading a poem, and it's a chemical thing that happens when you meet somebody. When I meet somebody, and I'm like, ooh, there's a connection. Things happen in your body.
Yeah, your body starts releasing feel-good hormones, feel-good chemicals, all kinds of things go on in your brain.
That could be just a first. That could be That could be just a first impression. So, are you all telling me that you all believe in love at first sight?
I believe in lust. Lust is the first stage. You cannot say that it's love. You don't even know them. You don't even...
Exactly. So would that go back of... Okay, so you're talking about a connection, I'm assuming you're talking about chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point, I believe that people mistake that. In my own opinion, I believe that a lot of us mistake that for love.
Yes.
Just because, but you can have chemistry with anyone. I mean, you can have chemistry with your with your instructor. You can have, you can have chemistry with many people. So
Yes.
when do you get to that point of knowing, hey, I'm in love with this person? Like, how deep is that love? How, are you infatuated, or are you truly in love?
I think everybody has their own stages of.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's levels. I think that there's levels to it, and I think as you recognize and realize that you are both on the same page with your feelings, then you continue to nurture and cultivate that relationship, and you deepen that love, and you strengthen that bond, and you strengthen that connection. Because you're both on the same page. We've all been in situations where you've had someone that has had way more feelings for you than you had for them. They were way more into you than you were into them, and maybe even vice versa. Maybe you were more into somebody than they were into you. I think, that's not an uncommon thing.
I have made a mistake, you all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to be very honest, because I have made mistakes where I feel a connection with someone and I thought it was love, but it really was not love. And I feel like when you're basing your relationship with someone through what are your feelings for them and how you feel for them and the chemistry and the connection, I think those do not get comfortable with that. Because let me tell you, today you might feel that connection, but tomorrow you may not. And there has been instances where you have sex with that person and then see how you feel afterwards. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, to me, love is not all about a connection. And I feel like some people like solely depend on that connection. But as soon as you don't have that connection anymore, you want to let that person go, or you say, oh, this is not for me, and this, that, and the other. And I don't think that's really true love. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I say you need to be able to, y'all need to be on the same page. You have to continue to choose. If this is the person that you have these feelings for, then you have to continually, make conscious decisions and choices to make that love, stay. You don't take them for granted. You don't take the relationship for granted. You don't run at the first sign of trouble, because everything might be all, good, and we got googly eyes and and we vibing and everything looking good, feeling good, sounding good. But at the first sign of trouble, that is going to be probably a better indicator of whether you're really in love or not, because what do you do when you guys are facing a challenge?
Exactly. You know where I'm going now.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Like,
the liking and the spark that happens when you first meet someone, and then having to go to the next stage of making that connection, making that bond. And when you get to the feel good part of the relationship, how long does that take you? Like,
that feel good in a relationship it's not factual. It's not going to be all the time, and that's what people need to understand. This is where I'm going. Yes, we have chemistry. Yes, we have felt that connection, but you have to be able to understand that connection is not going to be there all the time. Because there are moments where you're going to argue with that person. There are moments where you're going to, kind of roll your head and roll your eyes for a second. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get to the point where you're solely depending on this connection, and then
to carry you through.
Like 5 years later, you no longer have this connection, so you think that you're not in love with this person anymore. And to me, that's not the basics. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just a bonus. That's just something that, you have, and you could come back to at any time.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like a lot of people mistake that, and they just solely, and I was one of those. I don't have this connection now. Okay, so if you don't have the connection, then what are you gonna rely on to keep your love grounded? What is it? Communication? Is it understanding? Like, what else? You know what I'm saying? Because you're solely depending on this connection, and when you don't have the connection, there has to be something else that's keeping you attached to this person. And I think,
do you believe that there are stages of making the foundation? Like, how do you do that in order to get to the love part?
I would say that there's definitely stages to it. I would think. I mean, in my experience, and as I said, you know, in my younger years, first getting into relationships and not really knowing, you know, what a good, healthy relationship looked like and felt like and all of that. Yeah, I made a ton of mistakes with that regard. But, you know, as experience and experience and wisdom has, you know, guided me and wanted me to do different and to do better with my choices. You know, finding the person that I want to sustain a relationship with and maintain that relationship. I understand it's not going to all be fantasy dates and luxury vacations and trips and travel and all the fun stuff and gifts and presents and, you know, all these surface things that look pretty on the outside but don't really tackle like what's on the inside. How does this person comfort me when I'm stressed, when I have moments of anxiety? Does this person, you know, roll their eyes and think that, oh, I don't believe in anxiety and that doesn't exist and you just gotta, you know, mind over matter? Or are they supportive and are they encouraging of me? Are they telling me, you know, I found some meditative music for you to listen to, like why don't you take a relaxing bath and light some candles, you know, do some of those things. I mean, those are some of the things that people pour into their relationships that help them sustain the love. When you've got your strengths and you've got your weaknesses. So when I'm having my weak moments and I need someone to step in and step up for me, is that person gonna be there? That's gonna certainly tell me a lot. And if they are, and if they do, then I'm going to definitely pour back into that person. And we're going to continue to do that, you know, for each other to have our relationship evolve and grow, and we're building so that we're not just running off of the fumes of the chemistry. We're actually running off of a foundation that we've built together through not just the good experiences, but also overcoming challenges together and the work that we decided to put into.
Right. And the bad experiences, just go ahead and say it like that, you know, bad experiences, people, you know, I feel like it's not always going to be good. And if you're expecting for it always to be good, then I hate to see you when it's not good because you're really going to be trying to get away from somebody.
And you're going to be very disappointed.
I feel like that's where a lot of people miss out on true love because you're basing it off on this feeling that is not going to be there all the time. So, is it bad to fall in love so fast? Too fast? I think it is. Now, that I had my little, you know, based on my experience, yes, I think it is. Because this could be a toxic trait. And what some people don't understand is a lot of people suffer from abandonment. Some type of abandonment when they were young. So when they grow and they get into this relationship phase, they're looking for somebody to fulfill whatever they were missing.
Yes, to fulfill them and to validate them.
Right. And I think falling in love too fast can really be, especially if you're expecting to have a long-lasting relationship. It's some people that get together at first that don't even like their love grows throughout their relationship.
Yeah.
It's not even like, okay, we're in love right now. No, it's like they get to that point and they're still together.
That's how it is with a lot of these people that come from cultures that believe in arranged marriages.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about, that it's not, we know that we're not in love. Like we're just getting to know each other. And here we are, husband and wife, but we don't even know, anything about each other. What are your favorite things to do? What do you like to eat? How do you, what's your idea of fun? And, all those things. But, they've got 20, 30 years between them and their relationship and their marriage, and they didn't even start out with the chemistry and having that spark. They were just put together because that's how their cultures do it.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that just brings me to say something that I wanted to say today, which is when you fall in love too fast, the truth is, if you really want to be honest, that is not love. You don't know the heart. You don't know somebody's heart that fast. You know what I'm saying? You know the mind. You probably know the mind a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't eat the fruit the same day you plant the seed. So come on.
Right.
Like, you might think it's love, but it's not. It's really just lusting over that person because let's just be honest. Most men fall in love, with their eyes. Not all of them, but yeah, most of them, they like what they see.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care when nobody tell me, oh, this person might not be that attractive and so. No, honey, let me tell you, men have their taste, okay? So I strongly believe that there is somebody for somebody. And in your eyes, that person might not be, what you would talk to, but it would definitely be what some other man to his liking would talk to. Mm-hmm. So, and it's not always about the looks, but that grows into the relationship.
Absolutely.
What would you say to younger you, like giving yourself some advice to now that you have all this experience of falling in love and a strong like for somebody and the differences and dating, and what would you say to younger you to caution or give some guidance?
Yeah, I would take a page out of Dominique's book and tell myself slow down. You don't have to be in a rush with this thing.
It takes time. It takes time.
Yeah.
And I would say don't make someone fall in love with you if you don't know how to love them. Please.
Yes.
Okay? Because a lot of people do that nowadays, and you're really hurting that person. Whether you doing it knowingly or not knowingly. And like I said, you could feel chemistry. You could with many people. It's some people who like more than one person, but you're not compatible with more than one person. People have to understand that too. Chemistry, it can happen like instantly, and sometimes it can take time to grow, but that's when it's real.
Because you're taking time, like you said, to plant the seed.
Exactly.
I think that relationships have to mature.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And being young and having all kinds of experiences dating, you have to find out what you like. And that means self-discovery.
Yes.
You gotta know yourself in order to get to know someone else. But
that's a great message that I would give to my younger self.
People, yeah.
Absolutely.
In order to find out what you like.
And another message that I would give to my younger self is don't marry your unfinished business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if a lot of times we as humans have not worked through a lot of things again that has happened in our past.
Right.
And for some odd reason, we like to seek them out in other people, without knowing the person, you know. And
this is Spiritual Conversations.
Yeah, so like we got to start learning how to recognize those things. You know, we cannot allow our past to dictate what are we missing in our lives to make us complete, because it's not the same, and you're putting a lot on a person that wants to build life with you, but they can't because you don't know how to let go of things.
You have all your walls up. Mm-hmm.
Abandonment from a parent, abandonment from a mother, abandonment from a father. You know, those things are things you're going to have to work through on yourself. And we as human beings, we have to start to understand that our partner are not here to fulfill those needs.
Yeah,
you know,
they're not here to fix us and save us.
Exactly. So those are totally two different things. People need to recognize that. I understand. It could be just trauma of what you went through when you were younger, and something that you're missing, and you're looking for it in someone. That's not okay, because that's not what love is. You're totally mistaken your mother's love or your father's love for your husband, or your potential wife. Love, those are different. And
you can't try to recreate what you're missing. You can't try to recreate the bond that you wish you had with your father, with the bond that you're going to have with your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, or what have you.
Absolutely.
A man can't look to a woman to take care of his needs of being abandoned by his mom, and a man that has mommy issues is just right along the same lines of a woman that has daddy issues.
And I'm sorry,
are the men that teach us how to have some.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, you all, but it just creates chaotic relationships, toxic relationships, where you don't like almost everything, but you're in love with this idea of what this person is supposed to be, doing for you, because this is what you didn't have. That is that is the wrong. That you're not going for the correct. What I want to say. Please say it for me. Yeah, that's the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the wrong idea. You have to know how to get past the indifferences to strengthen your relationships. So build a strong foundation at the beginning of your love life, and you're going to see how that is going to help strengthen your relationship to be able to go on for years and years to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's my message for today.
All right.
That's my message for today.